No, your eyes don't deceive you. We've got some beautiful bits of gold mixed in with the silver here. I know my inner OCD is probably like yours, screaming about them getting mixed up, but don't worry, I'll sort it out. Gold and silver are pretty high right now. So what does that mean for me as a stacker and also as a business? What am I thinking? Where do I think things are going to go? And what am I currently looking at buying, stacking, or selling right now? A lot to get through in today's Precious Metal Ramble. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another Precious Metal Ramble where we shoot the breeze about all things precious and shiny. Gold prices, all-time highs. Feeling good if I'm a stacker and I've got a bunch of gold already in my vaults. And silver going up quite a lot as well makes me feel happy about the silver that I've got. But at these prices, am I worried? Do I want to buy more still? The answer is inevitably kind of yes. And the regretty spaghetti moment of not just backing the truck up to buy as much gold as possible 6-7 years ago certainly stings a little. But there is always a happy medium to be brought. And whilst I do genuinely think that now is still a good time to be buying gold, perhaps maybe not in the 1 ounce gold format, because I can see prices going even higher than they are now, and that's a whole other kettle of fish if you've got really big denomination gold. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes, and I want to share some of my thoughts and opinions on that today, both as a stacker, as somebody who has been investing in gold and silver for nearly 8-9 years now, 10 years I think coming up next year for silver, and also from a business perspective, because I run a poured silver business and I have a bunch of different things that I've been making over the last couple of weeks, and it is difficult to run a business when prices are volatile, both up and down. Yes, they can play into your favor if you buy a bunch of stock or bunch of raw material and then prices go up, but then with prices going up, it means that things are more expensive for people to buy, and it's very difficult right now in the market. The market is not as easy as it once was. So I hope to share some insights on both sides of the coin, to coin a phrase, on this particular video. And if you are enjoying it as we go, then please do feel free to comment and like and subscribe as well. That'd be wonderful, because that does help our channel continue to grow. Now, if you're wondering about any of the bits and bobs that we've got out here on the table and whether or not you want to look to buy them, there will be products coming up for sale in the not too distant future, including our fractional gold 1 gram bars, our fractional 10th ounce golds, and some of our hand poured silver. These are really nice pieces that we've been working on over the last couple of weeks. They just came back from the assay office. I haven't got a release date for them, but it will be coming out certainly in the not too distant future. And also, I might be doing a live stream sort of silver pouring session where we release these kind of things and some of the fractionals. I haven't quite decided yet. I'm sort of still working up to whether I want to do another live stream after the chaos and the disaster that was the failure of my furnace last time. It's very, very stressful. So that is for another time. Gold and silver prices. Let's go. Right. As a stacker and investor of gold, I love the fact that gold has gone up in price. There is no doubting in my mind that when I look back to the gold prices that I've paid through my little tracking spreadsheet, and some of the bits that I've got are now well over doubled in value, it does make me feel really good about the fact that I bought a bunch of gold. But there's also a bit of a regretty spaghetti moment that I didn't buy more. And that's a kind of message I want to put into context today, because buying lots of one particular thing, or putting all of your eggs into one basket, for example, is not necessarily the best course of action for any financial investments. Let's see if we can get a bit close to my little 1 gram gold pieces. So it is always important to have a clear sense of balance when it comes to these things. And that's what I'm going to say right now, because with gold prices being where they are, I personally would love to go and buy a bunch more gold. I really would. I do think for the next 10 years we're going to be starting to see some real increases in the gold price. I think we're going to see some I think we're probably going to see nearly $3,000 this year. I'm going to put that prediction out there. I think that will come by the end of the year. I didn't really think it would happen quite as quick as it has, but now we've blasted through £2,000 an ounce, and we're hurtling on up towards that £3,000 mark. I do genuinely think that's coming a lot sooner than a lot of people think. So from my perspective as a gold stacker, I am very happy with the gold that I have. Would I like to go ahead and buy some more gold? Well, I would love to, but it is always a balance. You know, if you're looking at it now and you don't have any gold in, you might be thinking, well, it's all-time highs. Is now a good time to buy? Probably not. But I do think genuinely with gold, the best thing that you can do with gold is you basically buy it, stick it in a safe deposit box or a vault somewhere and forget about it for 10, 15 years and it will do you just fine. There might be other investments in this world that do better, that's the thing. So don't go all in on anything in this world. And that is the same for silver. So silver is a really good thing right now to get at spot price in my opinion. The ratio is something that I think is going to continue to go in silver's favor for a little while until there is a big correction. When that will happen, I don't know. That correction could come in the form of gold going down in value and evening out with silver ratio, or it could have a big jump up in silver to go higher. Now, that's going to be an interesting time when that realizes and what we are going to see happen. I don't know which way it's going to go. I kind of am leaning towards the fact that silver is feeling undervalued right now, and it should, in my opinion, equalize with gold somewhat. Not equalize, but it should catch up with gold somewhat. So that is going to be interesting to see when that actually happens. I can't see gold going much further down, and I keep reassessing what I think the baseline is for both gold and silver prices in my mind. And I think with gold, I'm a buyer right now if I can find the spare cash for some fractional stuff, because I can't see it going much lower than, say, around 1850, 1900 as a real bottom. And if it drops under 2000, I think there's going to be a big rush of people wanting to buy gold. It really will be a rush, let me tell you. If you've seen nearly 2100 an ounce, $2,700 an ounce, if it drops back down £100, £150 an ounce, there will be a clamoring of people who will get out there and will want to buy lots of gold. By the way, this is what the 1 gram and 10th ounce. The 10th ounce are in the assay office right now, so I haven't got them back yet, but I've got somewhere in here, in my little smorgasbord of gold, some of the 2024s that we did in the first batch for the pre-orders of people, if I can find them. Maybe they're in my other drawer, or is this one of them? There you go, there's the 2024. So this is what the gold grams are going to look like when they're all said and done. Really proud of these. I like them. I think they're really cool. And fractional stuff, I think, is the future. You know, we're getting to a point where the 1 ounce gold stuff is going to be worth perhaps more than the postage insurance value that you can get here in the UK. That's going to be a watershed moment when that happens. I think finding £2,120 to buy a 1 ounce gold coin is a lot more difficult than finding the £90 it is to buy, say, a gram, which is what I'm going to be pricing my grams at. And that's going to be an interesting time ahead for a lot of people to see where things go. So I do genuinely think we're in this watershed moment within the stacking world where gold is getting to a point of being so valuable that anything bigger than, say, half an ounce is going to be really unmanageable for a lot of people to look to purchase. So I do think the future is going to be in sort of the the fractional stuff, the 10th ounce, the quarter ounce, the sovereign size being this kind of king of coins now, sitting at around the £500 mark is quite a lot. So from a stacking perspective, it's interesting and it's great. It's great to have profits on paper with your gold. I feel like, though, that selling gold right now is not a good thing. And whilst I sell gold as part of my business, don't get me wrong, that's part of the business that I'm selling here. Stacking wise, I want to keep as much as I can for as long as I can, because I just think it's going to be better in the long term. But we've all got to eat, and so I am going to be selling some of these fractional bits of gold at some point in the future. Now, from a business perspective, that is what I want to talk about in the second part of this video. As a business perspective, it's very interesting. So the first bit of business I want to talk about is the Backyard Bullion Buyers Club. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I do this, the intermediary sales services that we have for people. And I had these come in over the weekend and I sold them. It's just one of these, to be fair, and it went very quickly. Still a lot of people wanting to buy. That is for sure happening right now. But there are not as many people who want to sell. And I think that's quite interesting and also telling from the perspective of the high prices for gold and silver that we're seeing right now. Because if prices are going to continue to rise, I think a lot of sellers will be wanting to hang on to their gold and silver. And then, of course, if it's going to continue to rise, the buyers are going to also want to continue buying. So that's what I'm seeing right now. A massive reduction in the number of selling inquiries and a huge increase in the number of buying inquiries. So it really does say, in my mind, that there is a sentiment out there that things are going to increase. And that, I think, is very true. It doesn't mean that there are no sellers. There are certainly some people who are maybe just cashing out because now's the right time. Perhaps they've just hit the retirement button, or perhaps they need a new car, or whatever it might be. That's for them to do and to work out in their own rights and minds. But from my perspective as a sort of intermediary seller, I think it's really quite quiet right now, and I can see that happening for the foreseeable future. If you've got something to sell, the problem I'm facing right now is, certainly with gold anyway, is that you might as well just send it to a dealer. And I've been recommending actually that for a lot of my gold sellers, because quite frankly, after you factor in the fees, the postage and everything involved, and the massive fluctuations in gold price, it's a really tough market. You really have to price things. So your spot price today at 2100 might be, ridiculously cheap tomorrow. It might be also dropping £100 tomorrow. You just don't know. So people are a bit wary to pull the trigger on those big things. So that is an interesting concept. So the last little bit of the business side of things that I want to talk about is planning ahead for poured silver businesses, for example. It's difficult when prices are so volatile, and it's one of the reasons why sometimes I like to buy a lot of my raw material in bulk. And you can fall victim to that sometimes if you buy it. And honestly, a lot of times I've bought it and it's gone down quite a lot immediately afterwards. And to a certain extent, that happened with some of the stock that I bought this year. But now that has recovered, of course. So you do sometimes get that little windfall come in. But at the same time, with the raw material prices going up, any business worth its salt will tell you that it's not necessarily about the price of the silver when you bought it, but the price of the raw material you're having to buy to replace the material that you get. So there's always a happy medium. So it's not necessarily that silver price is bought in at sort of $750 a kilo and now it's $800 a kilo. That's the raw material price. From my perspective as a business, I think that pricing your poured silver products, for example, is something that is down to the amount of work that goes in, the skill that goes in, the element of the silver price, yes, as well. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that whilst my poured silver has a premium, it doesn't have as much of a premium compared with, say, 2 years ago, because the premium on the price of silver that we're buying right now is a lot lower than it used to be. So even though there is a premium on this stuff, it's actually not as much as it once was, if that makes sense. But anyway, look, I'm starting to ramble about that kind of stuff. The point here is that it's tough to be in business when there are massive fluctuations in the silver prices. It can be very difficult to plan ahead. It can be very difficult to even plan in that moment that you are looking to maybe buy something. So these pieces that you maybe are seeing, if you're in the Backyard Bullion Rambling Society and you're watching to the end, these are all little bits that I will be putting up for sale in the not too distant future. I haven't quite worked out when yet. We've got to work it into our release schedule. We've got some 3 ounce, 1 ounce and 5 ounce silver forum rounds coming out in the not too distant future either. And that's probably going to be maybe back end of next week, weekend after next, something like that. Probably in 2 weeks' time, I would think. So that's going to be interesting. And then we've got our fractional fun time. I'm working away making all of these fractional silvers. Yeah, there we go. That's about as much handful as I can grab. So those will come in. I've got a good idea to present them nicely in a little glass jar. I'm going to get some funky resin. I've been practicing with some resin stuff as a secondary little hobby. And I'm going to be making some little presentation bottles for these little bits of silver to go into. A little bit of fun, a little bit of sort of apocalypse barter tokens. So if you're interested in grabbing hold of any of those at some point, then let me know. And to go along with that, of course, we've got the golden versions. Now I'm going to annoy everyone here by putting the gold in with the silver. Oh no, I'm going to have an absolute nightmare getting all of these back out. But there we go. Fractional gold and silver. Really, really fun to do and really, really fun to have to show. So those will be coming out soon. If you're interested in any of the bits that you've seen, then don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. There is a link in the description box to that. Or you can just drop me an email to byb@backyardbullion.com and you can get hold of any bits that you might be interested in. So yeah, that's where we are. Very interesting times right now. And I think that it's only going to get more interesting. If you had to ask me, so here we go then, in the Cool Kids Club membership levels, you need to quote me something. Quote me the serial number of this 1 gram gold bar, 004 004. There you go. There is the serial number for the Cool Kids Club. But if you're in the Cool Kids Club, let me know what you're doing right now. Are you buying gold? Are you buying silver? Are you waiting for a pullback? Or are you a bit like me and thinking, do you know what? It's only going to keep going up. So it's now or never. Buy, buy, buy. It'd be interesting to have your opinions down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next video. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.